So now let's move on to our next session on the theme of effective AI use on the front lines. 3 startup companies discuss the reality of DX. Let's welcome our panelists onto the stage. Mr. Akihiro Kaneko, U-Trust Incorporated, Executive Director, Chief Strategy Officer. Mr. Takashi Sugiyama, Gigi Incorporated, Board Member, CBDO. Mr. Masaki Yoshida, Givray Incorporated, Executive Officer, CMO, COO of the Marketing DX Division. And our moderator will be Mr. Nobuaki Kawahara, Salesforce Japan, Regional Sales Director, Commercial Sales. And this session is sponsored by Salesforce Japan. So our panelists and our moderator, the stage is yours.
はい、では皆さん、こんにちは。皆さんよろしく。
Hello everyone, thank you very much for coming. Hello, thank you. So, effective AI, discussion, the reality of DX. So that will be the theme of today's session. So let me introduce myself first. So within Salesforce, I am in charge of startup companies and I'm manager of this sales team. My name is Kawahara. Nice to meet you. And after this, I would like to talk briefly about our profile, the company profile, and after that, I would like them to talk about it. So this is a disclaimer of this presentation. We list to the New York Stock Exchange. Therefore, we need to show this statements. And once again, I really appreciate attending this session. So the members that are on this podium will be the ones who know much about AI. So I hope we could give you some informative message during this session. So as for Salesforce, so those who are attending this venue, I think might be familiar with the name itself, at least Salesforce. So it was established in 1919. And we started from the customer support as well as the sales support. Maybe you have Slack as well as Tableau. So there are many variety of products. However, recently we are now having more than 5 trillion yen sales or revenue. So changing the topic. So the Japanese companies are going against a variety of headwind these days. The theme for today will be focused more on the leftist one. So looking at the Japanese market, the productive population is declining years by years. Since I'm in charge of venture capitals, I have many opportunities to talk about the managers and executives of those companies. And the message is sometimes almost the same. So they need to secure the people. They would like to hire very talented people, which is very difficult these days. And also on the right, you see that they feel it is very difficult to nurture and develop those who have hired. So to these issues, what I would like to talk here or introduce you is an AI worker. So far, when it comes to the topic AI, you think of generative AI as well as predictive AI. And this is more like an autonomous type of agent. So this is AI is working or operating for AI. So that will be a kind of replacement for HR cost and labor. And this is the last slide of the company profile. And this shows the current product portfolio. So in the center of this circle, in this purple zone, it says data cloud. So in order to operate AI, data is very essential. Therefore, there are distributed data in the company, and those data needs to be collected and prepared. And above that, you see Customer 360, and this is application layer. So within this application, the effective business tasks needs to be operated, and also the outer face is agent force, and this is represents AI.
ですけれども、
So, for example, from the new customers, when there is an inquiry from them, the sales AI agent force will handle the communication with the customer and set up the appointment. So that's something that we are proposing using AI. So that was a brief introduction of our company, and let's get started with the topic today. So first of all, let me introduce the panelists to you. First, Mr. Kaneko of UTrust. Would you like to introduce yourself? Yes. Thank you. I am CSO of UTrust. My name is Kaneko. Previously, I was in the advertising business at the cyber agent for about 10 years. I was doing the creative and marketing and so forth. During those, at that time, the generative AI such as LLM was not available. So machine learning, deep learning, using those technologies and introducing the AI technology, that was another area that I was in charge of. So it was like a DX rather than the AI. So I moved to UTrust, and here I'm in charge of the product marketing business, new businesses as a whole, and the finance. I'm also in charge of that, and right now I'm one of the management team. And UTrust, we are trying to improve the momentum of Japan, or increase the momentum. And it was mentioned earlier that the working population is declining in Japan. So there is a sense of a kind of blockage and not much expectations. And we want to end that. So that's the kind of a vision that we have. A year ago, the Japanese mobility, we wanted to accelerate such mobility. And based on that idea, we try to do the fundraising. So we want to make sure that this working population will be moving a lot more so that the individuals can be successful to stimulate the Japanese economy as a whole. And fortunately, those social significance has been awarded. So we received a special award of the Japan Startup Prize. And then Prime Minister Yoshida took a photo with us. So what do we do at UTrust? It is what we call career social network. So this is more like a Japanese version of LinkedIn. So the businesses and the careers, based on those themes, we have a social networking, and so the business opportunities and career opportunities can be found through us. Especially what we are focusing upon is to extend the connection among the individuals to do the networking. So this is what we call network recruiting. So this is the next method after direct recruiting. And this is what we have been doing. In the past, I think that maybe people only changed the jobs once a life, and you use the professional services to change the job. But nowadays, as an average, people change jobs 2.9 times, so they deal with companies directly. And from now on, I'm sure that the people will be moving around much more. So maybe you would change your jobs 5-6 times per life. So through your connection, you might be able to find a new job. So when that happens, to deal with the companies or to go through the agencies, it become too cumbersome. So network-based recruiting activity will become more common. And based on that, we are trying to improve our products. I will skip this page. And today we are talking about AI. And so for the users, we encourage them to use us as a social networking, and companies can use this as a recruitment platform. So we can use the AI agent for the recruiting purposes. So for example, the scouting can be done by AI, and AI will find the candidates or talent that are suitable for your company. So this is something that we are promoting. And so to introduce the AI, I think that I would like to share with you some hints with you how to introduce AI to your work. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Sugiyama of GG. Yes, it's GIGI, and my name is Sugiyama of GG. Please go to page 30. And we have a service called Gochimeshi, and this is to send the e-ticket. And the basis is that in Akihiro, Hokkaido, there is a noodle shop called Yui, and they have a service called Gochimeshi. When you eat in this restaurant, you would pay for others who would come in later. So we wanted to do this over the online. Our president, actually, you can Google, Ryosuke Imai is a name. He's a musician. And probably Hero by Namie Amuro was created by him. So he's a great musician. And after March 11th, he wanted to do something new other than music. So that's how this service started. So the next page, if you can go to page 31. So maybe you have heard of one of your services. During when the pandemic started, you were unable to go to the restaurants, and paying for then going to the restaurant later was called Sakimeshi, and this our company invented that. And since that time, the social services, we have been providing social services since then. So the local restaurants can become the company cafeteria that's called Bizumeshi, and to collect the money for the local restaurants so that the children can eat free of charge. So this is Kodomo Gochimeshi, another service. And fortunately, we were given some award for the Good Design Award, and also we received another award given by a university. And I will talk about this later, but we issue the various e-tickets. I worked for the Andersen Consulting and Deloitte Tohmatsu for about 15 years, and I was in charge of the development initially, and then I worked in the strategy. So I'm good at the development. So in our company, I'm the owner of the product and the business development. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sugiyama. Next, I'd like to invite Yoshida-san of Ghibli. Thank you. My name is Yoshida of Ghibli. So I have two roles. Yes. I am CMO, so I am in charge of the marketing organization. And today we are talking about Salesforce. So I am the owner of the Salesforce product at our company. Another thing is the AI multiplied by the marketing. That's one thing that we have started doing, and I'm in charge of that as well. Next page. So what kind of company are we? This is the Gen AI Ghibli. So Gen AI and support for how to utilize the Gen AI is what we provide. Next page. So what kind of services do we offer? Originally, it was a SaaS products, and putting AI on top is something that we are doing. So in relation to Gen AI, it's not only for our products, but the development of the AI, development environment, and other utilization of the AI is something that we are doing. And at early stage, we started to provide this service. 750 or more clients are being supported by us. So we have been accumulating a lot of knowledge through that. So there are several examples. So for example, with Nissin, from the inventory taking and so forth. So what is the area that can be replaced with AI? And we support the development of prompts. There are about 100 prompts that we developed. And with Nitori, the call center AI, using their own data, it's a RAG system, and the chatbot, updating the chatbot service is something that we have done with Nitori.
飛ばしちゃって。
Yes, skip those pages. Thank you. So in addition to our products, since this is a sponsor session by Salesforce, and we are also partner of Salesforce, so we take advantage of AI based on platform, and also Copilot from Microsoft is also supported in terms of the usage. So from various aspects, we are supporting AI usage. And the last slide. So as for Salesforce, so we started deploying since 2018, and we apply Salesforce tools for revenue in total. And there are several products that we are taking advantage of that. So from the marketing area to sales, as well as customer support. So we are utilizing Salesforce in a variety of areas. And as for the AI usage, I would like to cover some of the specific stories later. And in order to do that, we need to set up a data foundation. And we are now utilizing data cloud. And operation is updated by AI. Yeah, thank you very much. So from now on, we'd like to move on to discussion. So the theme number one. So when it comes to the in-house usage of AI, I think, what triggered you to start utilizing AI? And at that timing, what are the challenges? So Kaneko-san, what about your case? The trigger for us to start using AI. So in the past, it was more like an image recognition as of ML, machine learning, whereas the first way that we started to use on a job. However, so LLM, ChatGPT has emerged. So this has actually changed the world. And so it's more like a welfare system in the company. So we started to promote the use of those tools so that we can catch up with the big wave of AI. And personally speaking, I have been involved with AI for many years. And based on the experience, so I didn't expect that the barrier to start utilizing AI is such low. So I thought that will be useful for everyone. In the past, it was more like a big project when you try to introduce AI. So the executive members gather in one meeting, and the 3 months POC, 3 months consideration, then start budgeting. So it was more like a year unit type of project. But now we can, let's start from next month. So in a sense, that is more like a paradigm shift for us. Okay, Sugiyama-san, what about you? So yes, that's true. ChatGPT changed our mindset. So I thought that will be useful for our jobs. So the first usage is about to ask it to write down the apologies email. So it's a kind of frustrating to write down a mail of apologies, and I just gave them a direction, and they gave me a very good sentences. So we sometimes have to respond to the complaints by email because we have a call center service. So those are very important that someone needs to do. However, if this will be replaced by somebody else or something else, that will be very convenient. And also, they don't need to take a rest. That will be very helpful. So I have a case that I would like to apply patent. So I need to check whether there are any similar cases globally or not. But, so the description will be in Japanese. So when we ask this question, the response is mostly in Japanese. However, the AI can go beyond the language barrier. So in our company's case, first ask AI is a kind of status. So I would like to make it a culture if possible. Yoshida-san, what about your case? We are, of course, providing support of AI. So all the members are requested to utilize AI. One of the area that is about, so the members, sales members, is asking inquiries to the sales manager, such as, is this the right planning document and so on. So the managers always asks, did you ask AI to whether this would be valid or not? So that kind of usage style is very common in us. And we have AI products. So in the customer support area, we are taking advantage of AI, and that's one of the challenging area at the beginning. So when it comes to AI products, so the support area can be very wide, or needs to be very wide, because there can be various types of support. So it was more like a traditional chatbot. So we started to tackle with this chatbot's function in order to expand the usage. Thank you very much. Then let me move on to the next question. So I'd like to be more specific about the usage of AI. Kaneko-san, do you have any comments? So specific usage point? Yes. So when you think of some template type of jobs, so we saw already some jobs that do not have to be done by people. So there are many such tasks on business. So at the beginning, for us, when we deploy the AI to a product, I will not say this is the things that should be replaced by machine, but so when you issue scouting document for recruiting, so we need a lot of information, and we need to write down a lot of articles. So what points did you like? Would be very important, and also the point that is loved would be different depending on the people. And the response rate for such emails is around 30% in average. However, some response ratio is 60%, and some people's response ratio is 15%. That means there is much volatility. So if we can emphasize the good style of emails that showed high response ratio, then that would be read by a profile. So we try to make up a kind of scouting type of template document by copying something called a snippet. And self-scouting is sometimes a big burden. However, because of the introduction of that kind of AI function or support, some jobs that you are reluctant to actually start could be also supported by AI. So as a specific example of the support, I think this can be one example. So from that point of view, we have profile data for tens of thousands of people. So from the point of the client, it's hard to retrieve. However, so this origin is Japan, and this kind of skills, as well as this generation, and this kind of capabilities. So when you ask it to AI, you can have a list of such people capable of those requests. And we made up that kind of a tool very recently. So it's one of the most beneficial points for such activities. This could be for sales activities, marketing activities, as well as financing activities. So if you feel those tasks are sometimes cumbersome to start with, then AI can give us the first step. So that AI will be a support to make the first step. So in that sense, that will be very positive for human being. Thank you very much. So of course, you might be using ChatGPT. So I think some companies are using wide areas, and some are not very much. So one way is, as you mentioned, trying to find out some cumbersome areas of tasks. And also, there can be one way is to find out areas that would show the gap depending on the people. Yeah, so depending on the people, there can be the areas that would show some differences, and that can be one area that we can focus on when it comes to the area AI can support us. So prompts as well as data structure. So the providers should be also prepared well for those areas as well. Just think of the cook-made, ready-made type of hamburg pate. So when you start buying from the minced meat and onions, this is going to be a large effort. However, this hamburg pate is already frozen so that you just grill it, then that will be very beneficial for users. And if that level of preparation is made by service providers like us, then AI would be very beneficial for many people. Thank you very much. How do you feel, Mr. Sugiyama? Yeah, you just mentioned that if this is done by people, this is cumbersome and also repetitive. And in addition to that, 24 hours a day, AI can support anytime. So that's one of the benefits. So could you show us the slide from us? This shows our pain points.
So, for example, we have one of the services called Saki Meshi. We launched that service. Before we did that, we only had 200 restaurants, but after the launch, it's increased to 7,000 in 2 months. And we used to have just 4 people working on this, but that was not sufficient. So we introduced a call center, and we have been using the human beings, but we do the ticketing services, as I said. So ticketing, the people use the ticketing service during the night. And when people want to use our service, sometimes they have a lot of e-tickets, but they have lost them. But our call center is not open at 8 p.m. So people get angry, and people call us next day saying that their e-tickets were not usable. So we wanted to make it possible to respond. And for the callers, this is the first time they are asking this. But for us, it's the same question over and over again. So AI is very good at this. So this time, the Salesforce function is something that we used, and that's shown on the next page. So using the chat service, this is already working, and I can show you the video. But the receipts, for example, there is a mail address and there is a URL. And if you lose the URL, or then if you know the mail address, we can use our data to give the receipt to the people. So all of a sudden say that they cannot say, no longer say that their tickets were not usable during the night. So for us, what was stressful was that the people were kind of desperate, and they say that they don't have an email address. So what kind of tickets did you have, and how did you lose it? So you have to keep asking those questions. But in chat, the chat will respond to all the questions after listening to all the difficulties, and they would answer to this. And so each time it might be the same question, but the AI is able to handle that kind of questions. So 7,000 inquiries, and to deal with that by the human being, that would take a lot of human labor cost. Well, I said 7,000 stores, and of course the number of users increased significantly. This was the first service. So how to use it, we were getting a lot of inquiries, and we had the phone service, but now we have maybe 7 people, and with this system introduced, we can reduce this down to 2 people. And so 80% or a little less than 80% reduction in terms of the labor force. What is the reason why you cannot reduce this down to 0? Well, there are sometimes the claimers the people who are not convinced. So for those difficult customers, ultimately the people need to respond. And there are many things that we have to search for, because this has to do with the tickets. So, for example, some people would say that they don't think they used it, or they used it by mistake. And of course, we can deal with it somehow, but we need to do a lot of hearing. And some of that will remain. That needs to be handled by the human being. Well, so this was difficult at the beginning, and in AI project, you don't have to wait for 1 year to introduce AI. So how long did it take? Well, in that sense, there have been difficulties at the beginning, and we wanted to do something. And we talked with the Salesforce, and we decided to use the AI, and the agent force was introduced, and if you deduct that part, maybe it took us maybe 3 months before the introduction of the AI. That's very fast. Well, we develop on our own, so the data connection linkage, because we know what kind of data and where they are. So data cloud, we already have the data in the data cloud. Otherwise, it takes time to respond correctly. Well, thank you. Yoshida-san, what about you? Well, as I said earlier, the customer support is the area that we would be using AI, and related to what was discussed, our contract information with the customers and the past inquiries. We have built the operation with Salesforce, so we have data accumulated. So based on that, we need to create the response. So what to do based on this platform? So we decided to use Agent Force, and so we started to build this system. So this is autonomous AI, and the best thing is that updating the knowledge. The rule-based chatbot, compared to that, it's much easier to operate. Well, it's not that easy, but if you enter them, you can get the answer in a simple manner. So this is how we are using. So I think you're right. So dealing with the receipts, for example, we don't do the coding actually. Without coding, only creating a method and then making an inquiry, and then you can do this. So I sound like a salesperson of the Salesforce, but generally speaking, I think you're talking about the Salesforce, shifting from the topic of the AI. Thank you very much for that. So next topic. Yes, you can skip that. So why AI now? It's very difficult to recruit people and so forth. I'm sure you have similar difficulties. Maybe you can talk about the Salesforce a little bit in that sense. Kaneko-san, so why AI now? It is often said that smartphone, or from the era of the PC, we shifted to smartphone or smartphone-centric world. AI is similar. AI has a similar level of impact. I think there is a sense of crisis that you have to really use AI. So for us, we are a social network. So the differences of the individuals was important for our services. But we cannot compete only with that. Now, making a list by AI and do the scouting, and some services can be connected to some tools. So, for example, if you send the information of what kind of people that you want to scout to the agent, then you will get the answer. So that's the kind of reality that we might be able to realize. But the kind of human-to-human warmth, of course, we want to keep it. But you don't want to do everything, and you cannot compete if you try to do everything on your own. That was very clear. So as products, the navigation or steering among those products have changed quite a bit. So why Salesforce? Concerning that question, in our case, Agent Force was proposed. And maybe there are some people who are in the similar situation. So as a basis, the Salesforce and Sales Cloud, and also the Marketing Cloud and others, the Salesforce products, we were using the Salesforce products. So using among the users of the Salesforce, the connection of the data and operation, those are something that we are used to. So it's easy. So as an AI product, I think that's an important point. So AI agent, what is called AI agent, there are different formats. So in our case, engineers use the Cursor and Devin. Everybody can use them. And me personally, Notebook LM is something that I use often. So how to use or the format could be different. So what you are used to, that's a very important aspect. So we have multiple products that we use. So multiple products can offer the similar operability. That's an important point. So those companies who already use the Salesforce, the agent force, I think it's easier for them to shift to agent force. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, I forced you to say that. Yes. Thank you. And Sugiyama-san, what about you? So why AI now?
So LLM is wonderful. That's one of the answers to this question. So what is the difference of LLM from the traditional AI? So that is very close to what we've been talking about. As long as data is well prepared, then LLM can interpret by themselves so that they can replace my job. So we were able to use those tools. So why don't you use it right now because when it is available? So I think this is the answer to why AI now. And when Salesforce proposed this product, so Salesforce is in a box to collect data, and you are applying a LLM to this. So that's wonderful. It's I think it was a wonderful proposal, and I thought that that would be the one that we need to take it. So first, we were asked, what would you like to do with this to the engineer? So I said that, oh, please tell me what you can do by yourself, and we are going to do whatever you said. That led to the current status for us. Oh, thank you very much indeed for answering such a wonderful way for Salesforce. What about you, Mr. Sugi? So let me talk why Salesforce now. So of course, we provide AI support. So we need to change from use AI to with AI. So we need to be a partner. AI should be a partner of yours. So it means that we need to incorporate AI to the total business tasks. And that's also one of the topics that we often talk about in the support of utilizing AI. So when we think of the approaches, there are two approaches. The number one approach is reskilling approach. That is to improve literacy of the people. And the second approach is what we call architecture approach. So trying to incorporate AI in your business as usual. So how you're going to utilize AI would make a big difference. So since we set up a Salesforce operation, so under those environment, how much we can be naturally operate those. And also, when we do sales operation, then you can actually receive data automatically, and that would also improve the quality of AI. So in that sense, of course, this would be beneficial to our products, and also Agent Force from Salesforce is applied because of such reasons. Customers' information, and what we all forget is actually reminded by AI. So I think that is not available from human being. So when we do normal operations, there will be data of the negotiation, opportunities, and deal. However, if you try to move those data, that will be cumbersome. However, that type of data movement is also seamless. So in the past, it was the age of scenario. And that's what scenarios. So when you scenario A, then try to come up with B. And if it is B, then C. So however, this is actually challenging the imagination. And in order to go beyond imagination, the usage of AI is required in this age, I think. So in customer support, I think you're responding with FAQ. One of the messages is that, so when generative AI is incorporated, depending on the situation of the partner, the people who are using, who you're communicating, then depending on that situation, FAQ would also incorporate the situation, and that was wonderful. So although this is AI, so it is actually thinking, so that's wonderful. Yeah, so in the knowledge creation, So based on the content of the inquiries, knowledge is once again recreated, and this will be converted to data. So in the second inquiry, that would be handled by AI without any support of the people. So case can be stored as knowledge, and that will be actually recycled once again within Salesforce too. So I think that was a very smart way of using it. So since I'm a salespeople, I often make proposals to the clients and the enterprise, and they often say that, well, AI is actually developing in a dramatic speed, and under that. So I'm not sure if the selection of a Salesforce is the right answer or not because of the quick changes, quick evolution of AI. How do you feel about that? Well, in the past, you were saying that whether it was a question whether which one should we choose, AWS or Salesforce. So if you are not, we cannot spend millions of dollars to the area that you are investing. So we cannot do that. So of course, there are many things that is not available Salesforce. However, at least we cannot come up with what you are making right now. So it's not good to make up rules by themselves. Rather, we need to take advantage of the ones that were developed by those who are focused on this area. And in that area, one thing that I think that Salesforce is very good at it is they can actually have a function of girdle. So if you give them a direction that you should not answer after this, there will be no answers given. So no answer can be one answer in Salesforce, and that would be also a very clever point of AI, or Salesforce AI. Yeah, evolution of AI is an important topic, but there is a model layer and application layer, and they are different. So in the case of Salesforce, so there are many models available. I think that is the perspective of the Salesforce. And as for the smartness of AI, of course, this would evolve very quickly. So they would get smarter and smarter. But as for the layer of the usage, actual usage, and I think that Salesforce has a lot of functions. So whatever you want to do can be done by Salesforce. So there is a story of application layer, and there is a story of model layer, and they should be separated in my understanding. And in the selecting application layer, there should be something that you are familiar with, as well as you can go with a company you can trust with. Those, I think, will be very important, in my opinion. Thank you very much. So I just want to cover the effect of agent force, so including chatbot. So the estimate is minus 0.4 man-month. So you talked about the implementation period. So less than 1 or 2 months, you can start implementation and let them use it, and you can increase knowledge. That's how we are doing right now. And I think we can feel a lot of potential. So out of 6-1, there was 5.9 cases were completed only by agent force. That's about the number of inquiries. Yeah, that's under checking right now. So what kind of inquiries do you often receive these days? You mean AI inquiries? So for example, I want such and such things in AI. So what type of questions do you often receive? Yeah, this is one of the major cases. So they would like to take advantage of AI in call center operations. And also when we provide marketing support in AI, so they would like to make up a pipe layer, hyper layer level to take advantage of standardization of the mail magazine. So ChatGPT and Copilot, they deployed it. However, many members do not use it. So how can we permeate the usage of those? Those are also one of the common questions. And also, So there are many web meetings with customers, and if that type of information is subscribed, so that this would be incorporated as a data, and if it is converted to knowledge, then that would be a big benefit for the cost reduction of the education. So based on the meetings, you can run your agent so that you can improve knowledge, and that was very effective. Okay, let me ask about it later after the session is over. Okay, so I'm afraid time is very close to the end. So the last question, so representing the three members, I would like you to answer the last question, that is about the future trend. So could you go to the last slide? So this is about what do you think will be the future? So we only apply one product. However, there are multiple products. Actually, we have 10 products. And as for the knowledge applied right now, is only 1/3 of the information from the total is applied. So if we apply AI to all the products, that will be a saving of 15 man-months. So that means one team can be replaced by AI. So what are we going to do with the excessive people? So customer success would be the area in the case of SaaS. So I hope that will be one way to shift in the future. Yeah, salespeople has a high expectation on that.
Right. So from the beginning, you can do the very professional sales activity. So we have high expectations from that. Well, the number of the use cases would increase, of course. It's not just by us, but also with the customers. We want to be able to share them. Well, thank you very much. So I think our time is up. So we'd like to wrap up this session. Is that okay? So Ghibli is a Salesforce partner, so Salesforce agent development is something that we support. So if you're interested, please get in touch. Yes, we are doing development 100% in Vietnam. So together with them, we are trying to become the partner of the Salesforce. If you have a very small project, please come to us. Yes, I have nothing to add. So U-Trust, please download U-Trust and use it. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. So with that, Kaneko-san, Sugiyama-san, Yoshida-san, thank you very much for your participation today. We talked about the Salesforce AI toward the end, about the generative AI. We hope that your operation will become more efficient, and we are hoping that our competitiveness of the Japanese companies will improve. So let's continue to challenge AI. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.